Hey guys, it's Jim here, and I'm almost completely unpacked and settled into Florida. The funny thing about being a musician and when you work on so many sessions and you keep all your stuff like I do, you find hard drives. And in those hard drives you find things sometimes you forget you even filmed to begin with. Today's guitar I filmed a little bit of, including potentially the worst review ever posted to the internet. I'll post clips of it. Oh, it's really bad. And that review was about this Fender Japan Pink Paisley Jazzmaster. I bought this guitar at a shop called Parkway Music. We had just moved back to New York from San Diego, California. My daughter was 1 year old at the time, and I was broke, man. I was in a bad way. It's probably the worst I've been financially in quite some time. I traded in the ESP LTD 256. I think I got $100 traded on that. And I traded in a set of Ludwig drums that I had because I figured I didn't need 2 drum kits. I had my Tamas, which you're gonna see this week. I'm really excited about that. And I think I got $300 or $350 for those. I mean, I got fleeced here. It's another example of when you really want something and you're desperate for it, take your time anyways. Don't just, trade in to shops because you're not gonna get anywhere near what these things are worth. But I digress. I saw that they had 2 of them. They had one in the blue flower finish, and then they had one in the pink paisley, this one. And it was a hard decision, actually. The deciding factor happened to be that the pink one was about a half a pound lighter. So me not being, in my best state of mind and best kind of, judgment at the time, I played it briefly through, I think, a Blues Junior. And I was like, the electronics work, whatever. I'm gonna swap everything out later, who cares? And I brought it home. And what's funny is, I was thinking about doing YouTube back then. I just didn't have the real confidence for it. So, as a bonus treat and a first ever, and probably the last ever, I think this was the only one I attempted to film when I was out there, I'm gonna show you some clips of me playing that guitar and then just some thoughts I had because I filmed, oh my God, it was the worst review ever. It was so bad. But I'm gonna let you have a laugh at me because I got a good laugh too, so enjoy. Would I recommend this guitar for $1,000? Maybe? Okay, well, so let's start with the good. The good is the guitar's fit and finish is second to none. Japanese Fenders are always awesome. I've had several in my life. I have 3 now. I have a Pink Paisley Telecaster, now this Pink Paisley Jazzmaster, and I have a Mustang. For me, I would want to replace the pickups. I want a more Jazzmaster sound. I did the same thing with my Pink Paisley Telecaster. The electronics in these are cheap. The pots are undersized. There's those really small, cheap pots. They just cheap out on everything. And I guess that they kind of have to do that. I get it, but it's not good for the end user long term. Like I said, out of the box, this guitar will play, but if you're looking for an authentic Jazzmaster tone, then this is not the guitar stock. Now, if you're fine with spending money on it, then yeah, excellent. Did the same thing, like I said, with my Pink Paisley Telecaster, and I love the results. I'll never sell that guitar. I already started talking about the electronics and the pickups. Some people might not even notice that. I notice it because I love Jazzmasters and I know the tone really well. And this just doesn't have that feel to it when you first plug it in with the stock electronics. And the pots, regardless, they gotta go. They're really cheap. Other problems are, I don't care for this trem because it's not a lock-in arm, so it can kind of falls out really easy like that. So for example, the Jag, out, locked. Yeah, no play. Definitely would prefer that, so I would want that replaced. And let's get into one of my biggest problems with this guitar. Even if you don't notice the tone, hell, you could like the tone of the stock pickups. That could be perfect for you. That's awesome. This is what you get for a $1,000 guitar. This is unacceptable.
This is as close as you're going to get to not having a case. It's a beautiful guitar. I love the guitar. I do not regret the purchase, but I think you're getting not as much as you should be getting for such a nice instrument for $1,000. The case especially, that is garbage. Anyway, thanks for checking it out.
Guys, that was so painful. So painful for me to watch and to edit through that footage. However, it really made me realize turning on a camera and just talking about a guitar isn't always as easy as I had thought it would be. I mean, I've grown comfortable doing it now. It's been months. But at first, you know, I was a little too cocky for my own good, and it was bad. But that aside, this guitar was pretty much exactly what I said. It played great. The actual craftsmanship of the instrument itself was fantastic. It didn't sound great. I hated the fact that it came with the equivalent of like a $5 or $10 gig bag. I hated the fact that it didn't have the locking trem on it, but I mean, that was a small fix. It wouldn't have been too much to fix that. However, you know, I don't think I would rebuy this guitar. I really don't. I would have to get a really good deal used, and that's not happening. When I look at these used stock now on Reverb, they're like $1,700 to $1,800, and that is just crazy pills. It's not that good of a guitar, you guys. I'm sorry, it's just not. And unless you're that in love with the Paisley finish, and believe me, I love those. We're gonna talk more about those in the future. I still have never really talked about my Paisley Telly. Still not worth it to me. Still not worth it to me. And it just kind of sucks. And it's one of the only times I would not recommend Fender Japan being worth the money. But you know, that's just me. But that's gonna wrap up this quick episode. When I saw the footage, I figured, you know, if I don't use this now, I'm never gonna come back to it. I was actually thinking about talking about another guitar this week, but I couldn't pass it up. And considering that the drums in that video and the piano in that video are going to be in the very next video in this room tomorrow, oh man, I thought it was good timing. So if you like this content, please leave me a like, subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and leave me a comment about how much weight I have lost. Man, when you drink every day, Jesus Christ, I look like shit. Good God. But anyways, that's that. Things are better. Things are looking forward for the future. I will see you tomorrow with all that aforementioned stuff and a lot of new content coming this week. Take care, you guys.